It is exactly 5:26 p.m. on December 16, 1985, and the air in Midtown Manhattan is freezing cold. People are rushing home for the holidays, completely unaware that mafia history is about to change. Parked quietly down the block is a black Lincoln Town car with tinted windows hiding the occupants. Inside that car sits John Gotti, his eyes locked on the entrance of the famous Sparks Steakhouse. Next to him is Sammy the Bull Gravano, his muscles tense as he watches the street corner intently. They are waiting for the most powerful crime boss in America, Big Paul Castellano, to arrive. Castellano pulls up in his limousine, expecting a steak dinner to settle a dispute within the family. As Big Paul steps out, 4 men in long white trench coats and Russian fur hats emerge from the shadows. They do not hesitate for a second, raising their semi-automatic pistols directly at the boss. The sound of gunfire erupts instantly, echoing loudly off the brick walls of the New York City street. 6 bullets tear through Castellano, dropping the giant man onto the cold, dirty pavement instantly. His driver, Thomas Bellotti, reaches for a weapon, but is cut down before he can even clear the holster. John Gotti watches the entire execution from his car, his face completely emotionless and cold as ice. He slowly drives the Lincoln past the bodies to confirm the kill, looking down at his former boss. With that bloody act, the era of the Teflon Don begins, and New York City belongs to John Gotti. The media immediately falls in love with him, calling him the most stylish gangster since Al Capone. He wears $2,000 Brioni suits and hand-painted silk ties every single day to court. Unlike the old bosses who hid in the shadows, Gotti walks right into the cameras and smiles boldly. He sets up his headquarters at the Ravenite Social Club on Mulberry Street in the heart of Little Italy. Every Wednesday, his captains line up outside the club just to kiss his ring and pay their respects. But this massive ego is exactly what the FBI has been waiting for to finally take him down for good. They cannot touch him on the streets, so they decide to attack him from the inside of his own fortress. Technicians drill into the walls of the apartment above the Ravenite Club to plant high-tech microphones. Gotti feels safe in that apartment, believing the noise of running water will hide his secret conversations. He is dead wrong, and the FBI is recording every single word he says about murders and illegal rackets. Worst of all, Gotti starts complaining about his most loyal soldier, Sammy Gravano, on these tapes. He mocks Sammy's intelligence and talks about greed, completely unaware the feds are listening in. When the FBI arrests them both in late 1990, they play these tapes for Sammy in a small interrogation room. Sammy listens in horror as his best friend and boss betrays him behind his back for hours on end. The bond of brotherhood shatters in that moment, replaced by a cold instinct for pure survival. Sammy the Bull makes the unthinkable choice to break the sacred code of omerta and flip on Gotti. The news hits the streets like a bomb. The underboss is going to testify against the Godfather. The trial begins in 1992, and the atmosphere in the courtroom is more intense than a heavyweight fight. Gotti walks in wearing his best suit, still smiling, still believing he is untouchable to the jury. But then Sammy takes the stand, looking small but dangerous as he points a finger directly at Gotti. He details 19 murders with calm precision, linking Gotti directly to the Castellano hit. The smile finally fades from John Gotti's face as he realizes the Teflon shield is completely gone. The jury does not need long to decide, and the verdict comes back as guilty on all counts charged. The judge sentences John Gotti to life in prison without any possibility of parole for his crimes. There are no more expensive suits, no more cameras, and no more loyal captains lining up to see him. He is sent to the Supermax prison in Florence, Colorado, often called the Alcatraz of the Rockies. For 10 years, the man who owned New York sits in a small concrete cell for 23 hours a day. Throat cancer slowly eats away at him, silencing the voice that once ordered hits on city streets. On June 10, 2002, the Dapper Don dies alone in a prison hospital, far from the lights of Manhattan. His death marks the end of the traditional American Mafia and the celebrity gangster era forever. The code of silence was broken not by the police, but by the ego of the man who demanded absolute loyalty. Gotti won the headlines and the fame, but he lost his freedom, his family, and eventually his life. The story of John Gotti is a brutal lesson that in the underworld, your best friend is your worst enemy. The higher you build your tower of power, the harder the fall when the foundation finally cracks. Smash that subscribe button and ring the bell if you want more elite breakdowns of mafia history.